Good afternoon, this is Bob Iaccino coming to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Talking currency futures, let's talk about the euro contract. The euro a little bit lower, almost a half of 1% into the low 117s, 117, 17 and a half on the futures, getting down to a low of 117.01. Not quite able to break that 117 level, but a lot of it had to do with there wasn't a ton of immediate news into the euro, although we did have some dollar news that affected it, with Jerome Powell speaking before the Senate Banking Committee, and Powell was perceived as dovish. The first day of his testimony pushed the dollar a little bit higher. Dollar index was up about 0.5% after his testimony was done. He's speaking to the House tomorrow. He was perceived as dovish, even though he said we were still on track for the rate hikes predicted in the last meeting, but he said the gradual pace of rate hikes was appropriate, even though the economy was strong. I'm paraphrasing, that's not an exact quote, but that's what he implied, that with the strong economy, we still needed gradual rate hikes. So that was perceived overall as being dovish, although we're still looking at least at potentially 1 to 2 more rate hikes this year. Recent data out of the EU was also a little bit dovish for the euro. We got the trade balance fell between the European Union and its trading partners, came in a little bit lower than expected. Actually didn't fall, but it came in lower than expected. That's a correction there. It was still positive, but quite a bit lower than it was expected. And we've got PPI in Germany due later this week to see if there's any inflation in the EU's biggest market. But other than that, prior data was weak, and there's not a ton of important data coming out in the EU this week. That's not necessarily bearish for the euro, but it's not supportive, because without new data that's important, we go back to the recent data, which was disappointing. The EU surprise index, which measures the positive or negative surprise to economic data, has fallen negative. So most of the surprises that we're getting on EU data have been to the downside. Also, trade tensions, even though it's quiet right now, not really in the news, are still a major concern. The biggest concerns for the US are still China and the NAFTA countries, but a little bit of tension between President Trump and Angela Merkel, President Trump and Theresa May, still in the news and still kind of casting a pall over the British pound, which got hit today, got hit more yesterday than today, and the euro, which got hit again. The trade tensions are going to be there until there's some sort of a result, I should say positive result, to those and dissipating them. So far, they're not dissipating, not headline news because of the Trump-Putin summit, but still they're there. When you're looking at buying the euro, they have to be in the back of your head and cause you to at least have some caution in taking a long position in the European Union's currency. This is Bob Iaccino talking euro currency futures from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago.